Hey, what's up everyone? In today's video, I'm going to be going over a Berserker Whirlwind hybrid build. With this build, you can solo bosses fairly fast. I was able to do a chaos run in under a minute, and also you can take out mobs if you need to. I'll be going over the stats, skills, and a couple different gear setups as well. Before we begin, if you could please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel to help me grow, I would greatly appreciate it. So the Berserker Whirlwind Barbarian. He's a physical powerhouse taking out mobs with Whirlwind while he deals magic damage to bosses from Berserk. There are a few different builds you can do with this type of character, but I'm going to be going over the one that I enjoyed testing out the most. Feel free to comment different variations of this build. I would love to see what you guys come up with. For the stats for this build, since you're going to be wearing Enigma, you'll want as little strength as needed just to equip your gear. Here, I ended up putting 55 strength in. It just depends on what base you make your Enigma out of, so just keep that in mind. For dexterity, it all depends on if you're going to run two weapons or if you're going to run a weapon and a shield. If you're running two weapons, then you're just going to put as much dexterity as you need to equip your gear. If you're running a weapon and a shield, since you're playing more defensive, then you're going to try to get max blocking or as close to max blocking as you can get. Here I have a little bit higher dexterity because I was trying out double weapons and a weapon and shield, but it still works either way. And all the rest of your points that you have, you're going to put into vitality just to get that life as high as you possibly can. For skills, after you max the main skills, you'll have about 14 skill points left at level 95, so you can fill these in wherever you like. I was not a fan of Grim Ward, and since Howl can clear off enemies, I just use that instead. If you want more Berserk damage, you can put the points into Howl. If you want to increase defense for you and your party, you can put the points into Shout. Or if you need more defense for yourself, you could put it into Iron Skin. Again, it just depends on what you want to do with these extra skills. For your War Cries, you'll want to max out Battle Orders. That will give you life and mana. And then you will put at least 1 point into Howl, Shout, and Battle Command. If you use Battle Command before Battle Orders and Shout, it'll increase their level by 1, giving you extra life, damage, and defense. For Combat Masteries, we will max out Blade Mastery since we are using the sword. This will increase our damage. Then we'll put at least 1 point into increased stamina, increased speed, Iron Skin, and natural resistances. For combat skills, you'll want to max out Whirlwind and Berserk. Those are our main skills. Whirlwind would be for crowd control and mobs, and Berserk will be for more singular damage and bosses. For the gear, if you're doing double weapons, you can go with 2 Griefs. They do crazy damage together. If you want to do 1 Grief and 1 Death, that's another alternative. It offers High Crushing Blow and Deadly Strike. For a budget weapon, you can go with the rune word Unbending Will. It gives +3 to combat skills, and it is fairly cheap to make for early on. If you're going to go with the weapon and shield combo, then the shields I recommend would be either a Phoenix or a Storm Shield. For armor, your best option here would be Enigma for teleport. If you can't get Enigma or you don't want to teleport, then Fortitude or Chains of Honor is another good armor of choice. And if you're looking for a couple of budget armors early on, you could go with Duris Runeword or Stone as well. For helmets, I would go with Ariats. It's hands down the best Barbarian helmet. You could socket it with whatever you need. I put an rune here because my resistances were a little bit down. Another good option you could do here is Crown of Ages and put Burr runes in it or whatever you need to. Some budget options would be Vampire Gaze, Immortal Kings, or even a Wisdom rune word early on if you need to. For gloves, I like going with Drax. They give a chance to cast Life Tap. They have Life Leech, Open Wounds, and give a little bit of strength. Another option here that you could get early on, and it's fairly easy to find, would be Laying of Hands. For belts, I like wearing Vertigos. They give faster hit recovery, and they give some damage reduction as well as a little bit of life. But another good option here would be String of Ears. Here I upgraded mine with the Lemco and Perfect Diamond. That gives leech life. It has physical damage reduction as well as magical damage reduction. For amulets, I'm going with High Lords. I love this amulet. Another good option would be Mara's for the resistance and plus the skills. For rings, you could go with 2 Ravenfrost or Ravenfrost and BK or whatever you feel needs fit here. Some people go with rare rings that give attack rating, life leech, some stats, and resistances. Again, just whatever you prefer. For boots, I like wearing Gore Riders. They give Crushing Blow, Deadly Strike, and Open Wounds. Another alternative to these would be Goblin Toe, which you could find in normal difficulty. And for the switch, I like going with 2 Heart of the Oaks for teleporting and battle orders. They give +3 to skills apiece, as well as some faster cast rate. If you're looking for budget weapons, you could go to an NPC like Mala and get +3 to Warcry weapons. She sells them pretty early on. For the charms, get yourself a good Barbarian Torch and then a good Annie. And if you're playing ladder, get yourself a Bone Break Sunder charm for physical damage. Unfortunately, this is single player, so I don't have one of those. And then you could do several different things with charms here. You can get yourself some Warcry Life Skillers. You get yourself some Barbarian Combat Life Skillers. Or you could fill your inventory with max damage, attack rating, life small charms, whatever you need. This is all personal preference, so this is just kind of an example of what you could possibly do here. For Mercenary, go with Act 2 offensive. So you have the Might Aura, which will give you more damage. Then put a Fortitude armor on him, an Andy's helmet, and if you put a Reaper's Toll, it'll cast Decrepify and it'll really bring your physical damage out. But if you're struggling with mana, you can always go with an Insight just to be safe. Another option for a Mercenary is, for example, if you're speedrunning Chaos, you could go with an Act 5 Mercenary and put an Azrath or Lawbringer on him for a Sanctuary Aura to knock back the undead enemies, and then a Fortitude Armor and a Flickering Flame Helmet for the Resist Fire Aura, and that should give you a pretty good defensive setup to clear the Chaos with ease. And this is the Berserker Whirlwind Barbarian build. Thanks again for watching. I will have the single player files available to download on my Patreon. Link will be in the description below if you want to try this build out and test it for yourself. If you could please like this video and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, I'm going to end the video with a little bit of gameplay.
Not even death can save you from me.